Welcome to the Real Estate InvestHER webinar today. We're going to be talking about finding motivated sellers with trained real estate virtual assistants. We have Bob going to be presenting here today. So welcome everyone as you're joining. Thank you for being with us. It's 3 o'clock Eastern time. I'm going to jump in to bring Bob over here so we can get going. But thank you for being here. As you're joining us, I would love to hear from everyone in terms of where you're from, where you're calling in from, what you're excited about learning about today. For those who have never been with us on a InvestHER free webinar, thank you for being here. For those who are part of our community and have been with us, thanks for being back. So excited about jumping into today's topic. I'm just going to make sure I bring Bob over here and we'll get going. So please share in the chat box, like I shared, where you're calling in from. That'd be a great way to begin. So, hey, Preston, thank you for being here. Lana, very cool. All right, I'm going to just go to participants here, and then I'm going to go to, there's Bob. All right. Very cool. Okay, Bob's coming in. Thank you for everyone being here. Nice to see everyone chatting.
All right. You see me all right?
I see your name, Bob. I don't see you yet.
Unable to start video. You can't start your video because the host has.
Let me work on that for you. Always something, right? Nice to see you here today.
You as well. You as well.
Give me a second here. Let me figure out. I'm going to probably, you know what I'll probably do? I will probably just promote you. And for those who are joining, thank you for being here. You're in the right place. We're going to be jumping into one of our free webinars here with Bob, talking about finding motivated sellers with trained real estate virtual assistants. I'm very, very excited about this, Bob, selfishly. Okay. We're going to get Bob to be able to share his screen in a second. I'll get going. But thanks for everyone being here. Excited. I'm Liz, and I'm one of the co-founders of our InvestHER community. So just bear with us. And in the chat box, if you're joining, we want to make sure you get a lot from today and that you're engaged and you're not multitasking. So please share with us where you're calling in from, and we'll get going here in a minute. So just bear with us here, but everyone's in the right place. Okay, so what I want to do here is I'm going to go to this, and then I'm going to promote you, Bob, as
all right,
my co-host. Maybe that should solve the problem. I don't know why that happens. Can you check now?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. Nice to meet you. Nice to see you.
You as well. You as well. See, we color coded.
We did color coordinate a little bit. You're on brand. That's great because
that's it.
The red, the pink.
That's it.
Thanks for being here. Excited about jumping in, and I'm going to introduce you here in a moment, Bob. But thanks for being here, and thank you everyone for making time on this. It is a beautiful afternoon here on the East Coast. I don't know about you, but I know a lot of folks are experiencing with different things. Hopefully our Florida friends are doing okay. But yeah, weather is not always on our side here. So we're thinking of all the Florida folks and hopefully what's happening down there. So, but thanks for being here, and we're going to get going here. It's 3:03. And one thing we like to do, Bob, is always like to kind of start on time, end on time.
Right.
So everyone can kind of get moving on their day. But I'm going to just share a few things here, and then I'm going to introduce you to Bob, and we're going to jump into this really great topic. So for everyone who is not familiar here, we do free events probably twice a month. And again, my name is Liz, for those who don't know me, but I am the co-founder of our Real Estate InvestHER community, and we have a lot of different things going on. So I wanted to share that for those who are new. So if you're new to our community, put in the chat box that you're new. And it's always nice to get connected to new women who are joining our movement. So I have literally a few slides that I'm going to introduce you to Bob here and get going with our topic. Okay. So our mission, great place to start, is our mission is to empower women in real estate to live a financially free and balanced life on their own terms. The key is on your own terms, right? And that's what we stand for with everything that we do, everything that we're up to. What we're really all about is creating an intimate global platform where women can cultivate deeper relationships while creating generational wealth through courses, live events, and lots of different ways. But, it's all about creating those connections, not just learning information, but creating connections. Couple of things about us for those who are newer to our community. I want to make sure you are aware. We publish a podcast twice a week, Tuesdays and Fridays. Myself and Andressa we come together each week. We are part of the Bigger Pockets Network. We're listened to in about 42 countries now, and our downloads are increasing every month, which is thank you to everyone who listens, but we're about 55,000 downloads a month. We have meetups across the country. We just hit over 60. So you can check out all of our locations on our website. These are free groups, local groups for you to connect with local women, giving and getting and giving support. So check those locations out. If we don't have a location, we're always open to opening more meetups. We also have a Strive membership. We'll be opening the doors of that the 9th through the 16th of December. Pretty excited about that. And those are for experienced women that have done 5 to 10 deals. You can learn more about on our website. Many of you are part of our Facebook community, but if you're not, and somehow you heard about this another way, it's literally such a wonderful free community of women who are giving and getting support, experienced, new. There's no stupid question. This is a safe space for women to really get what you need to kind of move the needle, as we say, on your journey. So we take that, it's important and serious. Events like today, and we have a lot of other events coming up, in person, virtual. We have also an EXP team for those real estate agents who also want to build their wealth. So excited about that as well. And then we're constantly investing ourselves, myself, Andressa, and our team. And one of our projects was recently a 5-property portfolio deal in North Carolina and Kentucky. So we are active along with you, learning, growing, and building our wealth with you. 2 events just to share. This is a free event in anyone local to Scottsdale, Arizona. We're going to be there because our conference in May is going to be there. Very, very excited. But December 10th, we'll be there. It's literally, we're going to have like it's going to be like a mastermind goal setting session. Really excited about it. It's going to be a free event for anyone that's in that area. It's going to be like 9:30 to 12:30 in Scottsdale on December the 10th. I know it's a busy time of year, but if you're in that area or you know anyone in that area, I'll put the link for you to join us then. And then last but not least, before I get to Bob and our wonderful topic today, we have our 2nd annual InvestHER Con coming up. And it's going to be May 18th, 19th in Scottsdale. It's going to be at this beautiful resort, Omni Resort, surrounded by mountains. Hopefully you'll be ready to go to learn because it's just gorgeous. And hopefully women aren't going to be just hanging out at the pool the whole time. But it's going to be a really wonderful 2-day event. And this is our theme this year is all about generational wealth. So really excited about that. And our early bird pricing ends just in a few days. So November 15th, I want to make sure I mention that. You can get that info on our website and go from there. So without further ado, I want to introduce Bob here. Bob, thanks so much for offering your insight to our community. We don't take that lightly, and we're all about educating and growing and learning how we can do things in a simpler way, which I think you're going to tell us a lot about today, which I'm really excited about, because and I know as growing entrepreneurs, which we're building an investment portfolio, we tap out, right? We can't do it all ourselves. So what you're offering and what you're sharing is going to be so helpful for us in our community, because, us women, we want to do things ourselves a lot of the times. And that's not going to work to build our wealth on our own terms, right? So excited to have you here. Bob is a national speaker and on various topics when it comes to, such an important one around training, real estate, virtual assistants. And he's with Riva Global. So thank you for being here, Bob. The floor is yours. We'll definitely leave some time for questions, probably about 1:45 or even 22, about 3:40. And that way, and we really want to make this very interactive. So if anyone has any questions as they pop up, put it in the Q&A box, because a lot of women like to chat in the chat box. A lot of when we're having events, that gets busy with people sharing different things. But if you can, put your questions in the Q&A box. So when Bob and I are talking and I can bring those back up, I can field those very easily rather than sifting through the chat box, because it can get a little noisy in there. So yeah, without further ado, Bob, you have the floor. I'm going to stop talking here, and thank you again for being here.
Awesome. So do you want me to share my screen, or how do you want to do this?
Yes, I'm going to stop sharing.
Perfect. All right. I will share my screen here. Let me know if you can see it. I will maximize it so it will show just you and I here. All
Yeah.
right. You see it?
Should be great.
All right.
Yeah,
Perfect.
awesome. And let me know.
All right.
I'm not going anywhere. I'm just going to stop talking and I'll put myself on mute.
All right. All right. Well, first of all, thanks for obviously having me, Liz, here in your community as well. So really, really appreciate that. So what I'm going to cover today is finding motivated sellers with trained real estate virtual assistants. A little bit of 2-second background. I don't like talking about myself, but I'll give you a little bit of background of myself and on why Liz and I got together to feel that this would be a value for each of you. I have a virtual assistant company out of the Philippines with over 1,000 virtual assistants. However, I also do the business. So I think it's really important for me personally, if I'm listening to someone speak or someone teach or train, I think it's very important, just like Liz. Liz is a perfect example of also investing in giving back. So I think it's very important. I have a service company, obviously a virtual assistant company, but I also use my service to run my real estate investment company as well. So just started back investing in 2004. I did over 1,500 transactions. In 2021, we completed 166 transactions. 2022, we're on pace to complete over 200. So like I said, I'm going to show you exactly what I do in my office on a daily basis, literally right through that wall. My virtual assistant company is out of the Philippines. Like I said, I am flying there next week. We have our annual event. We should have, out of the 1,000 virtual assistants that work for us, we should probably have a show up rate of about 70%. So maybe between 65 to 70%, which is pretty cool. So we'll have about 650 of our virtual assistant team members there, which I'm very looking forward to. We have a charity we also run out there. A little bit of background. We also started 2 real estate education programs. This is back in 06 and 07. I got out of that space in 2000. I'd probably say about 2019. So I was doing all of that around that time while investing. I also, prior to that, I played professional hockey for 8 years, 4 years here in the US, 4 years in Europe. So it was a good run. Now I'm, back here in the United States and working real estate and virtual assistant company. So we will get rocking and rolling here. So what we will be covering, and I think this is very important, just like Liz said, a lot of us like doing things ourselves, but in order for us to continue to grow and to scale and to have more time for ourselves, we have to build teams. And it's more important than ever. Life is too short. Life goes by fast. Before you know it, you're going to be, I don't know how old everybody is. I know that's a bad thing to talk about half the time, but I'm 48 years old right now. I have 3 kids and before you know it, boom, life goes from, I thought I was 30 and then all of a sudden I was 48. So it goes by fast. And I think when you take a step back in life and you start looking at our real estate businesses, whether you have a successful business or you're looking to get into business, it's kind of the same concept. It's very important nowadays, going all through COVID. I think a lot of us, our lens has changed on how we look at things, and time is very, very important. For me personally, I coach my kids sports. I have an 18-year-old, I have a 15-year-old, and I have a 13-year-old. And 2 of them are in prep school now, but I still coach them in the off season. So my youngest kid, I coach. This is ice hockey. I coach right now. So I think for me, my business, to be able to do that, I need to leverage virtual assistants. So what will we be covering? All things you need to know to automate 90% of your real estate business. And Liz, if there's any questions that pop up, please just interrupt me. I'm from Northeast. I'm from Connecticut. I talk a little fast. So feel free to just tell me to zip it and I will read some questions. First one, how real estate investors utilize virtual assistants for time freedom, efficiency, and scale. Next thing we're going to talk about is best ways to generate motivated seller leads with virtual assistants that are working today. Like I said, all the stuff that I use in my office, I'm going to share with each of you. So if you have any questions, please, like I said, throw them in the chat. And then finally, the best tasks to outsource to a VA. So when I say VA, it means virtual assistant, just so we're all on the same page and I'm not confusing anybody there when getting started. All right, who this is for? This is for every single virtual or real estate professional out there. It doesn't matter if you're doing this in-house or virtually. in our office. We do this in 9 different markets, or 9 different states, I should say. I think we're at about 15 different markets around the country. But this is for real estate investors, wholesalers, builders, agents. I know, Liz, you brought up EXP. We do have a bunch of EXP agents that use their service. Renovation and rehab investors, landlords, property managers, multifamily investors, short-term rental investors, creative financing, lenders, brokers, influencers, and content creators. Any type of real estate professional out there, we have virtual assistants that use our services. All right, why is this important? First and foremost, scale. And many of you may look at the word scale and have a different definition. Some of you say, all right, I am looking to, maybe I'm focusing on buying and holding properties, and I'm looking to buy 1 property per month, right? Now you're looking to scale to 2. Some of you are looking to, flip properties. Maybe you're doing 2 and you want to scale to 4, to 6, to 8. Whatever that definition looks for you is the answer of what scale is, because I get a lot of different questions of what scale is. But I wrote just a little bit of a breakdown of what that is. Scale, doing more deals more efficiently while saving on expenses without adding more work to your plate. I think that is a very important part, and kind of a theme here is again, we need to have more time in our days to do what we need to do. We have a slide coming up called income producing tasks versus non-income producing tasks that I'll share with you in a little while. Next bullet point is efficiency. Improve the efficiency of our daily business processes using skilled, dedicated team members. Those are our virtual assistants. So we do training, which I'll get into. We train all of our virtual assistants that come to fruition at the end when we start using them, etc., which I'll explain a little bit more detail in a minute. Time freedom. Time freedom is going through COVID. It is something that has really opened my eyes. For me, I love working. Like I said, I have a virtual assistant company and a successful real estate investment company as well, which means that takes a lot of time out of our days, right? No matter what. So for me personally, I like working, and that's something for me since going through COVID has really opened my eyes, saying, you know what, you can spend more time with your family because stuff goes quick. Time freedom. VAs give you your time back so you have more time to focus on income producing tasks that grow your business. You could start looking at that. You'd say, all right, what could I do in my life if I have 20 more hours or 40 more hours a week back in my life? I mean, you guys could go, off on a tangent and run with that one for a little while, whether it's, spending more time with your kids, traveling a little more, going on that vacation, not having to bring your phone with you, et cetera, et cetera. There's a lot of different things out there that a question just popped up. A lot of things out there you can think of. Question 4, Bob, can your VAs do warm transfers? Yes, they can. Yes, they can. Let me just see if I can move this over. So they can do live transfers, but the answer is it depends what kind of live transfers you're looking for. It depends what kind of phone software as well you're using. So it's kind of a double kind of question. They can do live transfers. Just let me know what kind of software that you use, etc. So that's going to be the answer. You could elaborate on that once you get that second one. All right. Real estate virtual assistants for lead generation, cold calling. And again, this is what I do in my office. I do cold calling, I do text messaging, and I do direct mail. So those are the main channels for me personally. I know there's a lot of other different channels like PPC. I have not gotten into PPC yet because these channels are working very well for us. I've not gotten into TV or radio. And I know there's some other stuff out there as well that we do not do. We do those 3 main things. Like I said, cold calling, text messaging, and direct mail. Why is cold calling important? When I first started investing in real estate back in 2004, I door knocked from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Monday through Friday, every single week. And that leads to burnout. Now, fast forward today, cold calling is the same as door knocking was back when. So just to give you guys a little bit of context, my whole day was from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. I would get a list of pre-foreclosure properties. I would knock on a door. I was trained on a pitch by my business partner. And then I would come home and I would skip trace those records, the doors that I knocked. Skip tracing means trying to find the best phone number that attaches to that particular property address. Again, this is back in 2004. Then I would call from 5 to 7 o'clock every single night to try to get them on the phone. Fast forward to 2022. Now what I do is I hire my virtual assistants to cold call, like the old door knocking. So cold calling is very, very important. That's right, direct to seller, right? When you send out direct mail, that's hoping somebody calls back to you. This is direct to seller. Text messaging and cold calling is direct to seller. If you do this yourself, I highly recommend trying to do this yourself, but you will 100% burn out. And this is what I've experienced as well through my own businesses, through my own experience. Cold calling, one of the most effective lead generation methods today, bar none, 100%. Now, the method that is often the most difficult to stay consistent with and often leads to burnout. Consistency is huge too in reference to cold calling, because think about this. Even if you calendar it out, you take your phone, you say, all right, I'm going to cold call for 2 hours, let's say 2 hours a day, Monday through Friday. Something happens, you get a kid that gets sick, someone asks you to play golf, someone asks you to go on a boat, someone asks you to go on vacation, et cetera, et cetera. You go on your family vacation. Guess what's not going to happen? That consistent cold calling. So it's an incredible task to send off to a virtual assistant. So VAs can call around, this is a full-time VA, about 400 to 600 per day, depending on what dialer you use. And I'll get into the exact system that we go through in a minute. So again, at the bottom, I said, imagine hundreds of sellers contacted for you using your script consistently every day. Very, very important. This business doesn't sleep. It is what it is. It's the most phenomenal business. But if you could have someone working for you while you're not working, that's a beautiful thing. Keep going. All right, this is our process. If you want to take a screenshot of here and take this, use it. Liz, I don't know I know there's a lot of different list providers out there, but if you recommend one, I'll give you exactly what our system is and just plug in whatever systems and in list providers and skip tracers that you guys are recommended to. So Arriva VAs, this is what I do in my office. Arriva VAs pull our lists. So I use PropStream or RealFlow, and there's a bunch of other list providers out there, lead lists, etc. So they pull down a list for me. They also skip trace them. What skip tracing means is looking for the closest phone number that matches that record on that list. So let's say you pull 10,000 names, you put it through a skip trace tool, and the phone numbers will come out the other end. So you'll probably get about, let's say, an 85% hit rate on some of these companies. So out of that 10,000 list you'll pull, you'll have about 8,500 records with phone numbers. At that point, my virtual assistants upload them into the tool. We call it a dialer. Right? You have Five9, Mojo, you got Call Tools, or just some examples of this. And I know some realty companies actually have software that has this built all this together. So then that's what we do. Our virtual assistants do that. And then they start hammering the phones. So the VAs will call the list multiple times. We call them 3 times before we consider it to move on. So they call each number 3 times. We'll spread it out as well. The VAs have all of this already mapped out for you. So you don't have to even think about it. You just know that the virtual assistants are going to call 3 times. What they do at that point, they set appointments on your calendar, and then the leads are sent over to your CRM. So we use a CRM called Podio. So what happens is our Arriva, just to reiterate this, our Arriva virtual assistants pull a list, they get them skip traced, upload it into the tool, they cold call starting at 9 a.m. and they end about 6 o'clock, because I have a number of virtual assistants that call for me. And once that somebody raises their hand, I have a homeowner that says, yes, I'm interested in listening to more what you have to offer, and I'm interested in the selling. That lead gets pushed over into our CRM. And then that goes right to our acquisition individuals. Many of you on this call are probably going to take these calls live, or it's getting pushed over in the warm transfer. So then you'll take these right away. For us, we sometimes do live transfers, but it goes into our CRM, pops up as a new lead that our acquisition individuals call. We do have another question here from Stephanie. What type of seller are you targeting? Single families, multifamilies, what size? Fantastic question. We do both single family and multifamily. And what I mean multifamily for us in our office, we focus on 1 to 4 units, right? I have an individual, a good buddy of mine who owns a big CRM company who uses one of our virtual assistants to buy commercial, and that's bigger units, 10, 15, 20 plus units. So he uses his data, skip trace it, same exact system, but on bigger units, right? And let's call it what it is. It's a different type of seller when you're dealing with bigger units, right, Liz? And you experience that totally different than a single family seller. So,
Bob, I just
Any
wanted
other-
to mention,
Yep.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Finish your
no,
thought.
go ahead.
I was just to say, I wanted to mention too, that we have had, if you heard of REI Black Book.
Yep.
Yeah, we've created a partnership with them too, in terms of their CRM, because their CRM, and there's so many great ones out there, like you're saying, that are all encompassing, and they kind of like take the guesswork out of having to do it all. So I threw the link in there to check out what they have to offer. We've kind of vetted them a bit, and they really they have such a great product to kind of be kind of all encompassing. So I just wanted to share that.
And
with,
they are great. They
community.
are great. I know Damon, so they're great.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Yeah, and use that. So they have both, I believe, right? They have lists in there as well, right, Liz?
Yes, I'm almost certain. Yeah. It says a little more on the website for those who want to check it out.
Yeah, definitely check them out. And there's not one resource over another that I would recommend, because they are all very, very good. So if you have a relationship with REI Blackbook, 100% use them. They are very, very, very good. Very good. So thank you for adding that in. Here's just some closed purchases. So my real estate company is called Perch Rock. And obviously my VA company is Riva Global. Here's just some an outline or some of the recent deals that we did from cold calling. Property in Meriden, Connecticut. We made $60,000 profit. And the reason why I'm adding this, Liz, here, it's not to say that, it's not to brag, it's just to say that this business does work, and you don't have to just focus in your own market. This one is in Meriden, Connecticut. My office is in Cheshire. This one's literally probably 5 miles down the road from my office right now. It's a pretty good sized profit. But this one's in Arkansas. Wholesale deal, $26,000 profit. And then the other one's in Bridgeport, Novation, a different type of kind of strategy that we do in this office at $34,000. Now, the reason why I want to, again, I do want to preface that you don't have to do this business only in your own market. There's virtual investing you could also do. Not that I want to go off on a tangent, but that's what we do in our office. We do this stuff virtually. All right, another case study. This is one of my buddies, Mitch Stevens, really good buddy of mine. He's out of Texas, been in the business for a long time. He's the owner of 1,000 houses. He gave us a quick call, and he had an acquisition problem. So his acquisition team was getting burnt out from cold calling. So they were doing it themselves. So the point of this is that they were doing themselves just like I was. But this is a third-party testimonial for him and his office. Their numbers started going down. So then they called us and they brought on a couple of VAs for all their acquisition managers in the first month. Pretty cool. Their team brought in an extra 6 deals. So 2 extra deals per person, which is pretty cool to see. So that's just a little bit of a highlight on that side of it. And again, I like to show you real stuff of what works today. I don't like teaching off of, something that happened in 2004. I like to, bring everything up to current dates, that's coming out of our office and how we use our own service. So if anyone, like I said, if anyone has any questions, please post in there. You can stop me. As you can tell, I like going fast. Next one is text messaging. We have a 98% final open rate, which is a pretty good open rate, because obviously, we all live on this thing. I don't know if you guys get this as well, but I get now with Apple, it shows me my screen time, how much time I spend on my screen. And it's a lot. I'm like, holy cow, I didn't know I spent that much time on my phone. It's not like my kids are on TikTok every second of the day. I don't do TikTok, just so anybody knows. I do not watch TikTok videos because you'll be going into a rabbit hole for like 7 days. Before you know it, you're going to pop your head up, and 7 days later, you're like, what did I do? I watch TikTok videos. All right, back to text messaging. Text message marketing is very, very good. Very, very, very good. It's about a 30+% average response rate. 77% of prospects have a more positive impression of a text versus a cold call. But we do both. We hit our same list with a cold call and a text message. Virtual assistants, again, are excellent for managing campaigns and talking to sellers. So a little bit of what we do is we send them a text, we pre-screen the lead, and then we have our VAs call them as well to really, really hone in to make sure that they're a qualified lead. So that's what we do, again, out of our office. Same kind of concept. You see, there's a lot of similarities of what we do. Our Riva VAs pull the list, they get them skip traced, and these are all the different types of platforms that you can use. There's a number of other platforms out there as well, but they upload that list into that tool, and then the VAs start going back and forth. They text, and they manage back and forth communication, and they also pick up the phone to pre-screen them. Once they have somebody or a seller that raises their hand and say, you know what, yep, I am looking and interested in potentially getting an offer, or I want to hear more about your service, boom, a form is filled out, sent right into the CRM. Once that CRM notifies our team, just like REI Black Book, let's say it's REI Black Book, you fill it, or your VA is going to fill out a form, boom, it's going to populate into REI Black Book, and there's going to be a notification that's probably going to hit your phone. So then that's either yourself or your seller is going to pick up, or your acquisition manager is going to pick up the phone and call that lead right away. So that's how our system is in our office and what we do. Here's some deals for some text messaging. Just so everyone knows, text message has been phenomenal for us in our office. Been absolutely phenomenal. We got a Waterbury deal, pretty good profit on a wholesale deal, 30,000. Novation West Haven, 60,000, and then a Waterbury profit, 19,000. So again, this stuff works in today's market. Rock and roll, keep going. VAs for follow-up. Liz, how am I doing on time? Am I doing a pretty good job?
Yeah, you're doing well. You're doing well. And I would also, you know, as you're presenting, or I would encourage the folks watching and listening, yeah, post more questions about, because I actually want to ask a few questions about just generalities of bringing on virtual assistants and the challenges that can come up and how we can avoid those. But yeah, I just want to encourage questions. I think we're doing great on time, and then to get into some, you know, real life situations people are going through and help them through that.
Absolutely. And if there's anything you want to interrupt me to, Liz, just feel free to just,
we'll do.
If you have a question,
We'll
pops up. Fantastic. Another task is very important for us, you know, in our office is following up on older leads. VAs are really, really good at following up, because what happens, you know, you consistently market, and what happens, let's say you get, I don't know, 20 leads a week. What happens, you got those 20 leads, and you probably can only connect with, let's say, 10 of them for some reason. They don't answer the phone, or you put them in follow-up. Next week, you get another 20. Next week, you get another 20. Before you know it, you have 80 to 100 leads that are sitting in your database that have never been touched because they didn't answer, or something happened, they're on a follow-up, et cetera, et cetera. So these are some stats that are really important. So please take a screenshot for this, because this is national statistics out there. A consistent follow-up process means more revenue. 70 to 80% of all deals are closed by following up. I can't remember in our office us having a one call close in a long time. What I mean by that is, on the first touch, it typically does not get a contract. It takes, on average, on the second bullet point, takes on average 7 to 12 touches. Liz, you may be seeing something different in your market as well, and I know it's market specific, to convert a lead, and is often the one thing not maintained in all of our businesses. Follow-up is 100% huge. When I found this stat, I was blown away myself. And, you know, talking to our sales floor out there, sometimes it's even more than this. I'm being very conservative on 7 to 12 touches. But a touch, in my opinion, is you either talk to them, you text them, call them. Right? Or email. We could throw email in there, but I don't do much emailing, because I don't get a lot of emails from our sellers unless it's going to be from an online form. Right? So And I know REI Black Book does a very good job of giving you forms like that to
Yeah.
get motivated sellers as well. So,
Bob,
do you have
quick
any questions?
question. Yeah. Hey, Stephanie. I know Stephanie well. She's amazing. If anyone's doing business in Connecticut, Stephanie is a very, very active investor, has been part of our investor community a long time. So a little shout out for you, Stephanie. But you're asking another question. You said, do you ever use automated follow-ups? Do they have to opt in to be TCP? I'm thinking CPA compliant.
Yeah, TCPA compliant. Yep, I know exactly what you're
TCPA
saying.
compliant.
And Stephanie, I'm in Connecticut too. Reach out to me anytime.
Yeah. Yep. She's
Yep.
great. She's great.
Awesome. Automated follow-ups. So if you're talking about text messaging or cold calling, we run them through a TCPA kind of check beforehand. So whatever tool you use, you typically are going to run that through that tool. So just make sure if you're going to do that, Stephanie, run it through that tool to make sure it is compliant on that side of it. Do we use automated follow-ups? We do a lot of texting. So automated texting, we do that. Like I said, on the cold calling or on the email side, not much, because we don't do a lot of online lead gen that drives them into a funnel, if you will. I know a lot of you may do that on this call. I don't. I like going direct to seller, and I do direct mail as well. So did that answer that question, Liz?
Yeah, I think so.
Sure.
Absolutely. And
Okay.
somebody's asking, what's a TCPA? Can you explain that?
Yeah, the government put some things of what we can and can't do, and some different laws on that of compliance and how we can go to sellers, etc. So a lot of these tools, so it's either a text message tool, cold call tools, and skip tracing tool, they run them through a TCPA compliance to where they're looking at to make sure that all of what you're going to do, someone's not on a do not call list, et cetera, so that it funnels those those records out of there. So then it makes it more compliant for us to reach out to those particular individuals. Yep. It's just a broad overview of it. I know we got another question from Natasha there.
Yeah, we got a couple questions. You got it?
Yep, I got it. Thank you. How do you identify VAs? Also, what type of orientation are they given? So we do, and I'll get to that in one of the slides coming up, but I can answer this right now. How do we identify VAs? So all my virtual assistants are in the Philippines. All the ones that I use, and the ones we have, like I said, a little over 1,000 VAs right now. We have a recruiting department in the Philippines. I started my first company in 2014, so we've built it up over the years. So we have a recruiting department, we have a training department, we have a placements team, and a operations team, and all the HR and all that kind of good stuff. So my recruiting team, we're consistently posting, we're consistently driving applications, consistently driving to our team. So then we have a sourcing team that sources through thousands of resumes per month. Now the idea there, the reason why we go through so many is because not everyone is qualified for what we're looking for or what you are looking for. So we weed right through all of the individuals that really don't want the job. It's kind of like, we're doing WiseHire. We do WiseHire and Indeed here in the United States for in our office here, and weeding through resumes is a pain in the butt. So we do that for all of our clients. And like I said, anybody here could go get their own virtual assistants. You have to go through the same process. So this is a fantastic question. What type of orientation are they given? We go through about a month training with our training team. We have a set tasks that we do, phone handling, text messaging, cold calling, admin work, social media, etc. So there's a lot of training that we do for our virtual assistants. So hopefully, Natasha, that answered that question. I think that's it. So you want me to keep going here?
Yeah,
Liz?
that'd be great. Mm-hmm.
All right, fantastic. All right, just some follow-up stats as well. Only about 2% of sales close at that initial meeting, just to reiterate exactly what we were talking about on the follow-up stuff. The average sales follow-up drop-off rate breaks down like this. This is pretty cool. So taking a screenshot of this is very important. This is why all of us in our businesses need to make sure that we concentrate on following up. 44% of sales reps stop following up after one rejection, one no. 22% after two, 14% after three, and then 12% stop after four. So 92% of people are done after the fourth no. Now, if we go back up here, it takes 7 to 12 touches. So this right here gets rid of all your competition. So it's very important for us in business. And if you're doing it yourself, I mean, if I just read this stat myself and I want to take a nap because it burns you out, this is why you have to have someone doing this for you in your business, you know? So
yeah, it's huge.
Yep. Really cool. Really cool.
Quick
stats.
question, Bob. Couple more questions. Are you going to talk about direct mail? Someone had asked. Do you, or how you use maybe VAs for that?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll show you. That's coming up in one of my next slides.
Cool.
Yep.
And then one other quick question, and this might be related to what you were just talking about. Do you have a process that is used to record their calls and texts to help with coaching opportunities? I used trained VAs from a company and found I spent a lot more time coaching them to increase their KPIs.
Yep. Yeah, we do. So what we do, we use Ring Central, and there's a lot of different software out there. I have a team that also uses Five9 and Mojo, and there's a couple other softwares out there. But yes, that's exactly what we do. We have a manager as well that oversees your relationship with the virtual assistant and you. So you could also have them listen to calls for you. So it's pretty cool. But the answer is yes. That's depends what kind of tool that you are going to use and you want your virtual assistant to use. I highly recommend doing exactly what you just said. Make sure that you use a phone system that you can record calls. But very, very good question. Direct mail, there it is. The direct mail process.
You're good. I'm like throwing you the questions, right? Softball.
Softball. So again, same as everyone can see, it's the same process for cold calling, same process for text messaging, same process for direct mail. You got to pull your list, whatever motivated seller list you pull. So I want to get back to one of the questions you asked. What list do you pull? So for direct mail, for us, it's going to be a little different. On the text messaging cold calling, we do volume. I don't really care. I don't hone in on a certain list. For me, it doesn't matter because I'm going through so much data, right? Because everyone's town, Liz, is different, right? If you're going to hit, I don't know, let's say New Haven, Connecticut, as an example, or you're going to hit a small town like I don't know, what's a small town in Connecticut? A smaller town like East Hartford, still bigger, but there's only so much data you're going to pull in that one town. So I go all of it, everything. So if I want 3-bed, 1 bath, I'll pull 3-bed, 1 bath. If I want, units 1 through 4, then I'll pull that type of data, right? I'm not going to pull $1.7 million properties in East Hartford. I mean, there really aren't in East Hartford, but as an example, stick within your price range as well. So if you're going to stay away, you don't want to do high-end stuff, then what you do on a lot of these, like in REI Black Book, you could actually hone in on the list that you want. If you're a rehabber, you want to do 3-bed, 1 bath, cookie cutter rehabs, then you could pull lists just within that box, and within that price range. So I guess I'm kind of answering that question as well. So you pull that list, the VA formats the list. This is for direct mail. Upload it into your preferred direct mail provider. I believe REI Black Book has it inside their software as well. So you could do this all in one system. And then what happens is they get sent out. Just so everyone knows, I do every single Monday. I like to stay very consistent. So if you have a budget of, let's say $1,000 and it's $1 a piece, just easy math. I would send out 250 pieces every Monday, just so you stay consistent. Every Monday, 250, Monday, 250, and you keep it rolling. So for me, and this is what I found, investing since 2004, the more we could put stuff on autopilot and the more consistent we get stuff done, you'll be able to manage it because your phone's going to be ringing. Over time, you're going to realize if you're going to do all 3 of the things that we're doing right here, you'll realize you're going to get X amount of calls for direct mail. You'll get X amount of leads for text message. You get X amount of leads through cold calling. So over time, you're going to realize and you're going to get some same metrics that are going to match up. Some may go up, some may go down, but you're going to have an average of each of these. So again, does this make sense, Liz, on how we do this in our office? Okay, cool. And then the VAs do take the calls. You could take calls yourself as well, but our VAs do take our calls. They kind of pre-screen them and then they send them over. Again, if direct mail for you, you look at it and say, all right, direct mail is more of a high cost lead for us in our office. Direct them right to you. You take them for yourself, right? You answer those yourself. Because I have clients that do both, either have our VAs take them or they want them driven to their cell phone, their database, wherever. A little bit of direct mail, recent deals for us as well. Again, Meriden, Springfield, Mass, and then New Orleans, Louisiana. $47,000 profit, 20, and then 18. So, like I said, you could do this anywhere in the world if you want to do this. So, all this stuff does work. Any questions here, Liz? Or you want me to-
No, I don't see any more right now.
Perfect. Okay, cool. All right, some other kind of tasks that our VAs do. They do property and lead research. Our VAs do some due diligence checklists for each lead. We have your VA compile comparables. They run some comps. I know, your virtual assistant can go into REI Black Book and run comps because there's a comp tool inside REI Black Book. And then finally have your VA research the property, poll tax information, title information, and more. If you want, they could do those tasks for you as well. Property marketing, just a couple more tasks there. They could design graphics, posts, and flyers for properties. A lot of our property managers have VAs do this to find tenants, to get these units filled. Sharing property listings, of course, across social media and classified listing sites. All the repeatable tasks and easy to implement. None of us on this call should be doing any of these tasks. These are tasks that I believe should be outsourced because our value is way better suited to raising money, finding more deals, talking to sellers, etc.
Quick question, Bob.
Yep.
I think will be on the mind. I'm always thinking about the people listening and the women listening because I'm a podcaster, so I'm constantly, what would the questions be that are in people's heads? You know that the screen you showed about the process, do you find that you're hiring the same VA to kind of do all of those pieces, or are you hiring maybe a couple or a few to manage those different tasks? Or is it really one person can handle all this in your opinion, from a skill set perspective? Because the last thing we want is to have people, not succeed in a role.
Yep.
We also sometimes know that certain skills are needed from different people. So I'm just curious how you've managed that or delineated that in your own process here.
That's a great question. So I'll give you an example. For us, on the text message cold calling side, they could do both.
Okay.
Right? Yes, they can do both. On the direct mail side, this is the same thing. They could take inbound calls. So you're talking about the same type of VA can 100% do that.
Okay.
And that's a very good question because I get that question a lot too on that side of it. Yep. So, all right, let's keep rolling here. All right, lead intake with a VA. Have your virtual assistant as well. And again, these are the tasks that I have my VAs do as along when we go along here. Have a virtual assistant take all the calls from inbound leads, sellers, buyers, tenants. Best way to do it is just to have them pre-screen them because your time is well spent on more of the motivated individuals. They gather all the information you need. This is a time saver. Qualify the lead and set the appointment. They can have a live answer if you want. Most important thing is no lead is ever lost. And our business, obviously, our leads are our money. Our leads are our profit. Speed to lead. This is another stat that I wanted to add that I found online, which is really, really important, which we offer and we show our individual acquisition managers here in our office. According to a study by Harvard Business Review, you're nearly 7 times more likely to have a meaningful conversation with a key decision maker when contacting a lead within an hour. That's impressive. 7 times more likely. So make sure that we know that. So once that lead comes in, we got to hit him. We got to get him. We got to get him. We got to touch him. We got to touch him. 75% of prospects usually end up working with the first business to contact them. I mean, how many times have you done that? I mean, I even did this yesterday. I was looking for a restaurant online yesterday. And then I called someone who was busy. I'm like, oh, next restaurant. Oh, next restaurant. So we do the same exact thing as our potential sellers do. So we are no different than our sellers. We act like them. We're the same. So 75% again of prospects end up working with the first business that contacts them. So speed to lead is the takeaway on this slide.
We got a couple more
Uh,
questions.
yep,
Do you
do it.
mind? Wendy, hey, Wendy, thanks for being here. You said your photos of sourced houses include property numbers. How is that determined? Acquisition price versus current market value? Thank you.
Yep. So the acquisition price, that is my profit. So I'll just scroll up and let's see here. Oh, let me go up as an example. So this is the profit. This is the exact profit that comes in. So if I'm gonna, let's say I'm gonna wholesale a property. So I get a property under contract for $100,000 and I wholesale it to an end buyer for $147,554.50. That is my profit, right? I don't minus out marketing costs or anything like that. That is the check that comes into my pocket. Of course, all of us in our office have different types of overhead, right? Maybe a podcast could be an overhead for you. It could be direct mails an overhead for you. But this is the profit per this particular deal. Liz, does that make sense?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Hopefully that made sense to you, Wendy, too. The couple other questions. If I was to use Riva Global, your company, what are the upfront costs required to
So
hire full-time? Is there a
Yep,
required contract term?
Yeah, there's no required contract term. We typically have an advanced placement fee of $495. So that's the only upfront cost at all. There's no contract price. There's no contract term in, this is the reason why I don't do contract terms is I've been it's kind of like when you sign up for Verizon, let's say, or AT&T, and they lock into a 2-year contract. But there's nothing worse than getting locked into a contract when you say, because for all of us, stuff changes in our lives. And I don't think as a service provider, I don't think it's fair to anybody to lock anyone up into a long-term contract. And that's just me. Again, I own the company, but I don't think it's right for any service provider to lock anyone into, 6 months, a year, et cetera, because, we're all small businesses and stuff changes on a daily basis. So, yep, hopefully that answered that question.
And then novation. Sandra's asking about novation.
Yeah, that's a whole webinar training. Novation's a simple way to use the MLS to sell your deals.
Okay.
Really, that's the easiest way I guess I could explain it, because there's a whole, the whole thing.
Other
into it.
piece
It's not,
to it.
Yeah, there's a lot of pieces to it. We do.
Gotcha.
I mean, again, so anyway, we good to go?
Yeah, no, it's great. Thank you.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Most common tasks, again, for scaling. And I'll show this slide again. This is important.
This is really good.
But yeah, this is, so please, everybody take a screenshot. You can take a screenshot of this or all of these slides if you need. So lead generation. This is something to look at in your business because, for us, if we don't have lead generation, none of us have a business, right? If we don't have leads, we don't have a business. It doesn't matter what kind of business it is, whether it's, real estate investing, if you're in a financial world, doesn't matter what that looks like, but you need leads. So cold calling, text messaging, direct mail, pay-per-click as an example. Lead nurturing, that's following up. We went over all those statistics, and the way you can have your virtual assistant follow up is either email, phone, text. I recommend all three of following up. And then lead management, social media tasks. So these are marketing tasks. A lot of it's branding, right? You're posting content, graphic designing, video editing, podcast management. We also have a podcast that we do. I do one on more on the sports side. Liz, I don't know if you know that. It's called
I didn't know that.
Pucks to Properties. So I play professional hockey. Yeah, so we do that to give back to players that are still playing. Yeah. So it's something that we do. It's pretty cool. Content creation, design landing pages, copywriting, etc. And some other admin tasks, appointment setting, email, inbox management, bookkeeping, data entry, inbound phone, skip tracing, list pulling, et cetera. And the reason why I wanted to share this, Liz, is we get that question a lot. Hey, what kind of, what are some ideas
What do you do?
to get my mind working? Yeah, what do we do? So
and
these are some of the things.
And I love that, because so many times we know we need help and we know we're doing things, but we don't take the time to, we say it on our podcast and our community all the time, you got to make a list of things that you need to fire yourself doing. So if you're not sure where to start, think about all of these things, and also just start to time journal your week on a weekly basis. And it'll become very evident where you're spending your time and saying, where can I fire myself? What's like the
Right.
lowest hanging fruit to grow my business, you know? And I love this is a great starting point.
Yeah, and that's one of my buddies told me one time. If you have a $10 an hour bank account, or when you have, if you're doing $10 an hour tasks, it usually leads to a $10 an hour bank account.
It's true.
So, yep, it is true.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep rocking and rolling. And this just goes over hiring. Just an overview of hiring. I don't know what time we have here, Liz. If we're on the top of the hour,
we're about like 6:02 to the hour. What do you think? What you could
okay, I could zip
go-
through it.
Yeah, that'd
Yep.
be great.
All right, perfect. And if anyone wants to do this themselves, or prep to hiring a virtual assistant as well, it's the 4 R's of hiring: role, responsibility, requirements, and results. So the role, it's basic job description, title, job description, summary of the position you're hiring for. So if you want a cold caller, guess what? That's the basic role that you want, is cold calling, text messenger, inbound, follow-up specialist, etc. Know the skills needed. Like, know exactly what
Yeah.
we do. Predictive indexing. So
That's the
we
tool that
match-
I've been an expert in, Bob, for
Oh, very
like
good.
ever. Like over, I'm not
Very
using it
good.
anymore, but I used to work with a licensee of it in New Jersey. So I'm an expert.
Nice.
What's your predictive
Awesome.
index? Complete sidebar.
Mine is I'm a maverick.
Okay, gotcha.
How
You
about
can keep
you?
going.
How about
Very
you?
cool. I have like almost like an altruistic service persuasive pattern.
Oh, very nice. Very cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So knowing your skills needed, of course, we handle all that for you as well. But
Cool.
if you're going to do this yourself, make sure you know the skills that you're needed. Obviously, someone who's not scared on the phone. If you want someone to talk on the phone, know what you're looking for. Again, what the ideal is, and what you're actually looking for. It'll be hard to find if you don't know it. So we're on pace. Responsibilities: pinpoint the tasks you need done. Identify the exact tasks you want your virtual assistant to do, even if it's just a few small tasks to start. Very, very important. Know the responsibilities. Define and then refine exactly what you're looking for. Focus on the income producing tasks. You want to make sure that you, as a business owner, are focused on that. Get all this tedious stuff off your plate and give it to a virtual assistant. Requirements, again, skill set and knowledge. We give you all of this. We do all this for you. Refine or define and refine again. And better definition is better results. I know I'm going through this quick, but I know we're at the top of the hour. What results are you expecting? So have an idea. And again, our team can help you if you're looking for that. But make sure you know what kind of results. If you want, 5 leads a week, expect that, and then you can measure it, right? And then set those goals. So what kind of lead generation do you want? Again, like I said, we could help you identify that. If this is new to you, then of course we have those answers for you. But no matter what you're going to want in any part of your business, you're going to want to know what results that you want to see. So then you can start measuring them.
That's a great question.
yeah.
Real quick, if the VA's in the Philippines, what number is the seller contacting them at for inbound calls? So how does that manage? Is it like a Google number or something like that?
Same thing. So we use Ring Central.
Okay,
Central
so
yeah.
that's how you can mitigate that. Okay, so I hope that helps, Mary.
Yeah, so all of my virtual assistants have 860 numbers, and I'm in Connecticut, so it's an 860 number, so it's
Okay.
localized to you. Yep, very, very good question. How do I determine tasks through outsource first? Again, this is something what you actually said, Liz, is very important. It allows you to better understand how much of your time is being spent on what tasks each day. Spend about 2 to 3 weeks documenting every task you do throughout the day and how much time you spend on each. It's exactly what you just said.
Yeah.
Categorize them into income producing tasks versus non-income producing tasks, and then rank them easiest to hardest. This is a good little formula here, time and motion kind of study, and then start outsourcing the easier non-producing tasks and work your way down the list. And again, same thing. Just want to give it a snapshot of what that looks like, and then do what you do best, outsource the rest. The best automation is definitely a great virtual assistant. And then this is the link I know that you and I have talked about. So
Yeah.
that's a wrap on it. I kept it within a good time. I'm an East Coast guy. I could talk a lot. I could talk fast. So that's pretty good, right?
Yeah. And you folks have put together some helpful information there, and, we wanted to collaborate. So that's the link for those who are on this call. Like, I got to check this out, or at least learn more about it. Right. If you want to tell a little more about that process, that'd be great. Cause I think some folks have asked about that on here, and I'm going to put the link on here for people to grab if they're interested to learn more.
Perfect. Perfect. Yeah. And if you have any questions about anything, I know, I've been doing this for a long time, whether it's just real estate questions or whatever, just throw out real estate questions. I know we're talking virtual assistant, but I do both of them. So whatever kind of questions you have that I can help with, I'm definitely here to help.
I think that's a really helpful piece that you're saying too, Bob. If I could just add a quick point, as we're vetting different team members, right? And they're doing different things for us, bringing on a VA or what have you. It's so helpful and so important that the fact that you're using these folks for your own business in the same way is pretty huge, because you're literally doing the same thing, right? So it's not like you have a business that has no connection to actually the people you're placing. I think that's very helpful to understand, because you can understand and learn from your experiences, even just as a client of your own company. Another question, and it's just something that we need to look for other vendors and other support. Michelle, you're asking about, I think this might've been Bob, when you were talking about the different houses, getting them under contract, which is, the goal, right? To get to the getting it under contract so we can get this opportunity underway. She said, so will we need to get the house under contract with the seller, or do VAs, so VAs do not close the deal? So where do your VAs kind of stop, or where do you pick up?
So I highly recommend, I know there's we have to run our business. It's our business, and where we make our money is the final end of it. So how I use a virtual assistant is to drive the leads to our sales floor, right? To our acquisition managers. And it's their job to lock them up into a contract, because we're the only ones who know how low we need to go to make money on that. We're the only ones who could see, feel, and touch those properties. Virtual assistants are fantastic for driving in motivated seller leads. It's our job to finish the deal. And I know I've been doing this for a long time, and I'm going to be 100% transparent. Liz, I tried everything.
I'm sure you have.
And it's very difficult to find a virtual assistant to go from A to Z. Very, very. If you find one, you better box them up, because that's a unicorn. Right? You're not going to find too many unicorns like that.
But to your point, it's like, where's your time best spent, right? So if you're gonna use a virtual assistant and set them up for success, then it also then comes back to, where do you need to be spending your time, or a partner, right? And so I think that's what you've developed in your own process, which makes a lot of sense. So you're really clear on expectations, and you know the role you have to play to close the deal. Makes sense,
And even in our own market, that if you have someone in your office, they can't do A to Z. Right? Maybe they're good at upfront getting a property under contract, but they don't know how to sell it. So it's very difficult to have that one person do everything. That's why, in our business, that's why we create teams and we have departments and things like that.
Makes sense. No, that's great. I think we've covered all the questions. I want to be mindful of everyone's time. I hope everyone got the key with any webinar. Literally anything we do, just for those who are new to our community, is literally take one thing you learned today. Even if that means you have to start looking at how you're spending your time, so that you're in a position to hire that virtual assistant. Do that. Just take one takeaway. If you can, put it in the chat box. What's your one takeaway that you're going to use to grow your wealth, grow your portfolio, move the needle? It doesn't have to be like hire a virtual assistant by the end of today, but it can be one idea, one concept, one thing that Bob shared, something that I shared, that you're going to do something with. Because that's why we do these events. We want you to move the needle. And that's what these are all about, is sharing resources, sharing ideas, sharing concepts. So you move the needle in your own life, in your own journey. That's why we're doing this. That's why we're spending the time we're spending. Great. Oh, you're going to make a list of everything to outsource. Awesome. That's a very good one. And I'm sure Rosie, definitely going to track tasks that I'm doing daily. Awesome. That's great. It's fascinating when you do that. You're like, what am I spending my time on? As folks are sharing their takeaways, Bob, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate your time. I love that you're literally your own customer. That's very meaningful in this business, especially with virtual assistants, because it can get a little tricky. Who to bring in, how to train them, different types of things. There's a lot to it. So definitely check these folks out, and learn more about the process and stop getting in our own ways of trying to do it all ourselves. So, but thank you, Bob. Anything else? The price. Sharon's asking me, what's the price? I'm sure varies. If you want to give a little bit of that information, that would be great.
Yeah, we offer part-time and full-time. It's 20 hours a week and 40 hours a week. So we just keep it very standard. It's $10.60 an hour. That's it. And that's very, very standard, very simple. So no thinking involved. And yeah, I just want to thank you, Liz, obviously, for having me, and thank everyone for taking the time out of their busy
Yeah.
schedule to listen to me talk. And hopefully you got something out of it.
Absolutely. And you have a lot of good, you shared a lot of good nuggets, and we will be sending this just for everyone to know. We will be sharing this with all that's registered. We had close to 300 register. Everyone will be getting the recording. So you can noodle that a little more. If you don't get it, let our team know. And keep posted on all of our free upcoming events happening. Now we have 3 more until the end of the year, just free webinars to support you in growing your business and your investments. So Bob, thank you so much. Looking forward to collaborating more in the future, and
Absolutely.
appreciate everyone's time today.
Thanks a lot. Thank you,
All
everybody.
right. Bye, everyone.